Hey everybody, we're live. It's well, you know who I am. We got Sean Cinephile, Sanity, and Juno 2000. I didn't want to do the huge Juno thing of the last time because three people dipped out. Maybe they came back in. I don't know. But anyway, uh, we've got a real good treat for you all tonight, and um, that's Rock and Roll High School with the Ramones.
Okay, Randall. I think the problem is clear. I am a reasonable, well-educated, mature adult member of society, and you are a spoiled heathen punk who has taken over my school.
I know I can write for the Ramones. All I've got to do is get my songs to them.
Look at this. Fake IDs down 50%. Test answers down 60%. I want you to crash that concert. I want Randall and Rambo brought back here immediately. This is what we think of the Ramones. We want to stop her! Come on!
Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Randall, and this is Rock and Roll High School.
Hey, pizza! Great, let's dig in.
Yeah, I want some.
Oh, thanks.
How many times do I have to tell you? No pizza for you, Joey. More beef German, riboflavin. Yeah, come on, Joey, eat.
All right, we're back, and wow, I guess Johnny's gonna keep, asking me about shy penis and stuff. Oh boy. Um, anyway, once again, I'm kind of starting on a somber note, but I just wanted if nobody saw it, that recording engineer, as he would always go by and not producer, Steve Albini, had a heart attack yesterday at the age of 61. He recorded such bands as the Pixies, and Nirvana. He did stuff for In Utero, which some of it never got used, but if you look up Pachyderm Sessions on Google, you can probably find a copy of it, and those are really good versions of those songs. But he didn't like the term producing. He actually hated the rock industry, actually, which was funny. He's very outspoken about a lot of things. Especially last year, he took a lot of heat for his hatred of Steely Dan, which was actually quite funny to read, on Twitter and things. And but he had, several bands, Big Black being one of them, and Shellac, who I did manage to see, and they were incredible. And I guess next week is the first Shellac album from been 12 years since they had come out with an album, was coming out next week, and then they were gonna tour, so that kind of sucks. But anyway, I just, since it's all about the rock and roll.
Yeah, no, it's definitely appropriate to mention something like that, or I mean to just acknowledge it, it's not something I don't really know the band like that really, but it's always learn something new with you. I know that.
Thanks. Well, I don't know. I'm just tired of losing people, my peers and shit like that. It's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, it's always important to acknowledge, shit like that. Throughout life, we all deal with death in some ways,
Yeah.
But, looks like we have 13 people in the chat right now. And, all right, let's go through some names here. Trying to get to the damn top. Fuck, every time I hit the... All right, Rosalia's here. What's up, Rose? Jason's here. Ginger Ninja. What's up, Jason? We got 71's here too. What's up, 71? And Jimmy's here. What's up, Jimmy? We have Chester, Johnny from the Wild Guys.
Johnny, Chester.
And Jen's here. Villainous Vixen. What's up, Jen?
Hey, Jen.
And Ryan's here too. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, Ryan.
And Corey's here from Wilkie's Movies and Music. What's up, Corey?
Hey, Corey.
And Gizmo's here too. What's up, Gizmo? And I think that is all for now. 13 people.
What's up, Gizmo?
Was Juno born after this movie came out? Johnny is asking.
I don't know. I don't know what year Juno was born, but probably so.
Yeah, like this came out like 20 years before Juno was born, I think.
The 2000.
I mean, it's came out like 5 years before I was born, like 4 years before I was born, I think. 79, I think this is, right?
Yeah.
79.
Yeah.
I actually, funny thing about this movie was that there used to be this, when I was growing up, there was a cinema that was huge place, big old screen and stuff, and they would show every week. They'd have a double feature of something, and so like they showed this with Roller Boogie with like Linda Blair, and that whole week, as soon as we got out of school, we got to that theater and we watched it, and then every time the Roller Boogie would come on, we'd go out into the lobby and play pinball or just like hang out and then go back and watch the next showing of Rock and Roll High School. And I remember the weekend that they showed it, we saw it at least like 5 times on the Saturday and Sunday. It was ridiculous. And
Dude,
then,
that's so cool, man. Like, that's why, like, I mean, I love hearing your stories. In some ways, I envy, like, the fact that you got to grow up in such a cool era. Like, the era that I kind of wish I would, like, grew up in the 60s and 70s, man. I really do. But I love hearing your stories and shit like that, man, when you share stuff like that.
well, I only got to spend 5 years of the 60s, and I don't really remember them because 1 year I was spent at year 0, so it's like that,
Yeah.
But I remember things changing though with like all the hippies and all that sort of stuff. But so then the following year in 1980, like the week before my 15th birthday, there was a in-store at Cactus Records, and they had the Ramones there, and there was hardly anybody there, so we would just like get back in line and talk to them when we'd get back in line and then go back. But they signed a bunch of my records, and then that night we saw them play at the University of Houston. Most of the times they played like clubs, and we were too young to get into and stuff. And then I saw them again in 92, and that was at the Greek Theater in Berkeley and stuff, and that was a pretty decent show too. But I think seeing them the first time just was great. They were really at their peak, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, I recently got the Crow 4K, the 30th anniversary 4K in the mail. Just got this yesterday, but I really do like the new artwork on this, because like it is really hard to tell, but there's actually like it's like hologrammed in some areas, and it's got very light blue throughout it, which is like it doesn't really show up on the camera here that well. But yeah, if you end up picking this up, anyone, like eventually, you get a better look at it. You'll see the blues kind of standing out behind the logo and everything. But yeah, I still, just got this. I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, I think I pre-ordered this back in January, something like that. But really excited to have this in the collection now.
Jesus, you
And it's
pre-ordered
just
it, Jay?
it doesn't come with the Blu-ray. It's just the 4K in this. But the previous release on Blu-ray is this ugly white thing. I hate this artwork. I wish I think they did initially release a Blu-ray of this with the original poster art. I think that was like the first time it was ever released, and then they re-released this with the digital code and the shitty artwork. But you know, it is what it is. But that's I think that's it for pickups right now. But other than that, yeah. So I guess we'll get this movie started here, like maybe in like 15 minutes or so, something like that.
Yeah, we can do that.
I'm gonna be using the Look Movie link. Really hope it doesn't crap out on me or pause in certain areas.
If
But
there's
you know,
anybody
see.
that got the cock, you can watch it on the cock. So there we go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's available anywhere else. I don't know if it's on Tubi or not, but I'm just gonna share the Look Movie link in case anyone's like SOL shit out of luck on where to find it.
I'm gonna grab something right quick.
Make sure you grab it good, man.
I heard that Michael Mann is confirmed that they're gonna film Heat around like in October and September, like the second one.
Okay, so they're like officially signed on for doing it.
And is it Austin Butler from Elvis? He's gonna be in the movie.
Did you say Heat 2?
Yeah, Michael Mann's doing Heat too. It's
So,
gonna be filming in September and October.
so it's gonna be
Yeah,
Heat
but
2 Electric
this one's
Boogaloo.
gonna be called Cool. That's what it's gonna be called.
Yep.
He's gonna make a whole series out of them. It's gonna be Heat, Cool. What else is there?
So I just thought of this as something I've been wanting to show for a while. So tonight's movie that no one has ever seen. Well, I know Jimmy's seen it, but it's Michael Caine and Harry Brown. This is a really great violent movie. This is almost sort of like a Death Wish film where there's these English like tenements and stuff, and this guy that's a friend of Harry Brown, played by Michael Caine. He wants to stop the hooligans, and then he gets murdered. So then Michael Caine decides to, put on his Bronson and take out a whole bunch of these witless Brits that are assholes. So yeah, this is I know a lot of us really love our violent films, so that this is packed with gore, and it's really, really good stuff. And the other
Who
lesson,
released that? Who released that DVD? Is that like a regular studio DVD?
Yeah, it was a Sony, one of those Samuel Goldwyn pictures, Sony Pictures.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up when I get done here and see if I can.
Back in
I'm gonna try to.
2010.
Yeah, I'm gonna research that when I get off of here, but it kind of gives me like, you remember the movie he was in with Steven Seagal called On Deadly Ground or something like that? It came out in the early 90s.
Yeah, Michael Caine is the bad guy in that one.
Yeah, Michael Caine's the main villain in it, but like I know that it's not really a great film, but I really feel like the character exchange between him and Seagal is actually it's got some decent moments throughout it.
Mm-hmm.
But the other lesson, that you guys, can learn from this is that if you like to speak like Michael Caine, you should only say a few words at a time.
He's got to make sure he says the word like completely. He
Right.
speaks complete words, I guess you could say.
Thanks for that recommendation, Texas.
You're welcome, Juno.
Yeah, honestly, that's got my my interest is sparked now. I really want to look into that.
Juno Brown. So there you go.
Yeah.
I'll blow your fucking head off. You know.
Yeah, your voice impersonation's not bad. Yeah, you know what? I was just thinking of the movie he's a movie he's in called The Island, where like
Right.
his son gets kidnapped by like these long lost islander pirate people, and like it's like I don't know, the movie's so. It's like a like a late '70s or early '80s like PG movie, but it's kind of a cool
Factory had some
nostalgic
Blu-ray.
movie in a way, I guess you could say. I know Scream Factory
Ship,
released it on Blu-ray a long time ago.
yeah, Ship Factory.
Yeah, Ship Factory. Yeah, Juno, you got me saying Ship Factory to a point where it's almost natural now. Like, like it's like there is times where like I catch myself, I'm like, I shouldn't probably say that right now. But it's so natural at this point. It's like like kind of wish they would just switch the name to Ship Factory. So. Rosalia said a flock of Steven Seagulls.
I just
Uh,
liked his little shit, but
yeah, there it is, a flock of Steven Seagulls. I'll
there's
break
some
your
movies
fucking
that
neck.
there's some movies that he did like a couple of years ago are really fucking bad.
Yeah? What else is no?
It's bad enough is that he they don't use his stunts a lot because he can't fight in the movie, and also he gets dubbed. There's like a movie where he's like dubbed over. He's not even talking in his voice, so you can tell it's somebody talking that's dubbing him in one of these shitty movies that he did.
Wow, that's rough. That's even worse. But I see Johnny over at the Wild Guys is saying the island was cool, but Sean, check out the hand. Yeah, I've actually seen the hand before. That is another one. I forgot about that. I think that's an early '80s one. But that I think Ship Factory. I think they also released it too. But yeah, that's definitely another cool one to mention though. What Johnny just said, the hand with Michael Caine. And I see Jim's movie channel is also here. What's up, Jim?
Hey, Jim.
Hey there, Jim. Hey there, Joseph.
Oh, Joseph is in here. Coach Joseph Pope.
Oh yeah, that's right. He is here. What's up, Joseph? Yeah, we are about coming up on the 20-minute mark soon, so we'll get this movie started in about 10 minutes. And yeah, tomorrow night, if you guys aren't doing anything, we're going to be watching Brian De Palma's Carrie on the channel. At 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Juno in Texas will be there as usual, and yeah, should be a good one, that's for sure. It's, Carrie is definitely a classic film that truly has stood the test of time. Like, it's still effective to this day, and yeah, looking forward to that.
And it's ironic that the main star of this movie is played by PJ Souls, and she's also in Carrie as well.
Right. I actually like had my like I was thinking that before the stream to like mention that and I totally
Mm-hmm.
forgot. But good call there, Juno. But yeah, PJ Souls is, who is also in Rock and Roll High School, She's obviously in Carrie too. Isn't she also in like Class of something
He's
or
in Stripes with Bill Murray.
Stripe? Yeah, I know she's got like a pretty interesting filmography.
Yeah, she's in. Yeah, you already mentioned she was in Carrie. Yeah, but There's,
But
I'm
Jim's
trying to think
movie
of that.
channel, Jim is saying he saw this movie at the drive-in with Phantasm in 1979. Yeah, they're both movies from '79. So he said he was 12 years old at that time. Wow, man, that's pretty cool. A double bill like that, two classic movies on a double bill like that. That is pretty cool.
Freaking Gizmo saying that Seagal would be the perfect Captain America. That would be the first Marvel movie I run to the cinema to check out for a long time.
I can see him playing Captain America, but also like sitting in a computer chair the whole time. They're like, with no matter what he does, he's in a chair. Like even fighting people, he's in a chair.
And then Jen mentioned Piper Laurie about how she's she's so crazy, and Carrie talking about dirty pillows and stuff. I
Yeah.
recently saw her in that Argento movie Trauma, and
Yeah.
that was a trip. But I don't know have you guys ever seen Hesher with Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yes,
Yeah,
I've seen it before. I
yeah,
remember when I used to have premium cable. That was like one of the last movies I remember watching on it.
yeah. That's a good one. We should do a watch along for that. She's really good in that, playing the grandma or whatever and stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that again. It's been a very long time since I've seen it. I mean, it's not a super old movie. I know it's like over 10 years old at this point, I think, right? It's got to be like over 10 years old at this point.
About 2010, I think.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I would, I wouldn't mind seeing that again, that's for sure.
Jim said he saw a double feature of War Games and Blue Thunder, and both directed by John Badham and released a week apart. Wow. I didn't know that, but I've seen both of those. I love Blue Thunder. I think that's great. Daniel Stern, who was really good in that, and Roy Scheider.
Oh man, I'm really glad that Jim just corrected himself, because I was like, wow, Jim's 83 years old. Like,
yeah, in 83.
You meant to say in 83, but it says I'm 83. I saw that. It was like, wow, he is fucking old. Like, holy shit. But no, he's not that old. Man, Blue Thunder, man, War Games. Isn't shit. War Games. Is that Matthew Broderick or something like that?
Him and Ali Sheedy.
And isn't Michael Madsen in it too, in like an early role for him?
Yep.
I think he might be in it.
He's in the first part of the movie.
That is a pretty cool movie, but that's one I haven't seen in man, it's been a long time since I've seen that. It's been 83 years since I've seen it.
Gizmo with his anything to get Steven Seagal in a stealth uniform, running with the belly bouncing and the hair flapping in the wind.
Yeah, Jim's saying he's 56, but he feels 83, Sean. Like, I can kind of relate to that. And I mean, I just turned 41, but for some reason, like when I turned 40, like as soon as I hit my 40s, like I felt my stamina level kind of go down a bit. Like I'm feel more tired more often now. I'm like, oh shit, it's the start of it, right? This is where it goes.
Jen says anyone born in 83 is young, and that's the year I graduated. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, but where are we at here? We're coming up on the 25-minute mark. So I guess if you want to get this movie started in the next 5 minutes, Tex, we'll do that.
Yeah, we can do that. Joseph, doesn't realize that he says Coach Texas, Coach Cal Pope, but he's Joseph is a winner at basketball, so he doesn't realize that the Pope is going to bless like all of his games, because he's going to sprout wings when he plays basketball and fly through the air.
You know, he's always got support from the Pope's exorcist too.
That's right.
Kicking
Gizmo
the
says,
devil
wish
back.
you a good watch. The film is good. I only seen it once after I bought it, but need to go back to do it. Did you see the new Monkey Ape War movie in cinema? It's not out here yet, but I think, you know, I'm probably gonna go
I'm
see it.
probably
Try to.
I'm gonna go next week because I hate going on the fucking day it comes out because you have that bullshit where the theater's filled up on the day it comes out,
Right.
and you have
You
to
know
do
what
it
trailer?
two
I'm
fucking days.
sorry. Go ahead, Juno.
It's just saying like it's because like I had bad experience with theaters where like when you go on the first day, you know the theater's gonna be fucking packed with bunch of jackasses on their phones, bullshitting, reading the bratty kid because they bring their damn kids and shit. Which I had a bad
Dude,
experience with Shield.
actually, one of the reasons why I don't go on opening night anymore is because when I went on opening night for Star Wars: The Force Awakens, I happened to be in a section where kids just would not shut the fuck up. And it was loud, laughing and yelling and shit. I'm like, what? Like I want to say something, but I know I'm gonna end up having to fight like 6 kids and go to jail. Like, like you can't just like you're shit out of luck in that situation. There's nothing you can do about it.
You're
You just have
gonna
to
you're
like
gonna
I don't know, man. Like but that kind of just like I was like, fuck this opening night shit. I'll just wait till the second week or whatever. It's better off doing it that way.
you're just you'll be like like a dervish just clocking kids right and left. Oh,
Picking them up and throwing them into like rows over, like 6 rows over.
Jim said he smoked too much weed and ordered a 4K Blu-ray combos from Shot Factory last night. There's a sale going on if anyone's interested.
Yes. Hey man, that's a good way to shop though. Bong rip away and just put everything in the cart. Drop out of life with a bong in hand. There you go.
Jimmy and we went to see Saw 2, and there was this couple sitting next to us, and this fucking woman, she's got her cell phone and she's talking to her fucking boyfriend or husband and stuff. And that one scene, like where that dude's peering through the peephole and that gun's attached to it, and then he gets shot in the eye, in the head through the eye or
Yeah.
stuff. And I start laughing, and she goes, what is it with these damn people laughing when people dying? And I said, well, I wouldn't be laughing if you knew how to shut up and turn off your phone. I was waiting for her man to say something, but he just was quiet because he knew I was right. I was like, shit, dumb bitch, shut up.
But that's the
Yep.
best though, when you do that, like you're in a situation like that and they don't say nothing, like that's just officially the end of it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it takes that though, like to put somebody in their place, like, yo, like, you're fucking up over there, you need to be told.
Yeah.
Let me go grab a drink real quick and then we'll get this started.
You better keep your channel, Joseph. You're gonna be in big trouble if you get rid of it.
The reason I was saying that I had a bad experience seeing Cloverfield is because when I wanted to go see it in theaters, somebody brought their kid and was crying and would not be quiet and stuff. So like I could not enjoy the movie because the kid kept crying throughout the movie and shit.
Oh man, like when I saw that fucking thing opening night. This friend of mine called me and he's like, "You want to go see Cloverfield?" And I was like, "Dude, it's like 10 fucking o'clock. What are you talking about?" He goes, "No, the midnight show." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know, man. It's gonna be crowded." And he goes, "Oh no, we'll get good seats. We get, so it was like this ex of mine, me and him, and I think a friend of his. I don't remember, but we get there and the place is packed. We had to sit on the very front row, and I hated that. I couldn't stand it. So I mean, it was such a bad experience trying to watch that movie, you know, because it was so shaky, you know, some of it and all that. And then
And you have to
later
take your head out.
when it came out on
It is.
DVD, then I bought it because I thought, well, it's cheap. I'll give it another chance, and I liked it that second time, but I was just like, oh fuck this, you know.
Front seats in theaters are the bad seats, like, cause you have to have your head up and looking at the screen and shit.
When I was a kid, I loved sitting on the front row. Of course, I was smaller and you know not as tall, you know.
Mhm.
Well, I also see Liv Style Rewind was here, or
Yeah,
she is here. Yeah, what's up, Liv? And I
It
didn't
is.
say hello to Z. What's up, Z? But I'm ready to go if you guys are.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So if everybody's you know
Um,
ready, I'll give a or Sean, you can do the countdown. I'll do the countdown. Doesn't matter.
yeah, we'll just do the usual 10 to 1 countdown.
All right.
And
So
all right.
all
So
right.
yeah, if everybody's ready in the chat, we're gonna go ahead and get this started. The links are down there somewhere in the chat right now. I don't know.
Ready.
Okay, whatever. But all right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit play.
Vince Lombardi High, which is like the best, you know.
Man, that old New World picture logo in the beginning's not. It's I'm not used to that one. It's just like red bold lettering and like that '70s style.
Right. There's some like during the concert footage, like you'll see Darby Crash with the Germs, and this was probably kind of filmed at the around the time that Decline was filmed because he's wearing the same sort of leather jacket that he had on in that movie and whatnot. And I really, you know, it's funny because this one friend of mine had this total crush on like PJ Souls because of this movie, but then I liked Day Young because she was sort of the nerdy girl and everything, and she was in that movie Dead Kids, which is also known as Strange Behavior, which I think is a really good movie and stuff.
Yeah, I had that on DVD. Isn't that like an Aussie horror movie, if I remember
They filmed
correctly?
it in New Zealand, but it was supposed to take place like in Illinois or some shit, you know. But nobody really in that
Yeah.
cast, they're all Americans except for this one English woman or something, you know. It's weird.
I have it in a triple feature with Patrick. You know that movie, Patrick?
Yeah.
And it's that, and there's some other Aussie horror movie. It's in that movie. It's like a 3 movie set. I can't remember, but I haven't seen that one in a while. That's for sure. I don't even remember a whole lot from it. Strange Behavior.
Oh, it's good. I remember seeing it like on cable, you know,
And
probably around 82.
it's got no relation to Disturbing Behavior.
No. Joseph, you will like this movie. This movie's amazing.
It really is like one of those kind of classic films. I feel like almost any kind of like fan of cinema should be aware of, even if they haven't seen it. They should have at least heard the title before. Like I feel like that's how popular and big and important this movie is. I mean, I used to date a girl back in like 2006, 2007. This was her favorite movie, and almost anything related to this movie, is something I probably sat down and watched with her. And she's actually, fairly, I would say fairly responsible for getting me into certain movies that I'm even into today.
Like, you know, this having Mary Warnoff in it, and then her husband at the time, Paul Bartel, rest in peace. He directed a bunch of films. He's the music teacher in this. But they did a movie together called Eating Raoul. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Ah, I feel like I might have heard of that before. It's something I haven't seen. I know that.
Next time I'll talk about it. It's really good. It's kind of a cannibalism comedy, sort of, And then
No,
he
sorry, go ahead.
he directed Lust in the Dust with Divine as well, and that's a great movie.
But Johnny's asking me, was she a Ramones fan, Sean? Yeah, definitely. Ramones all day long. Like, she probably wore a Ramones shirt at least like once a month, I'd say. Definitely a big fan of the Ramones.
Jim's got to take off, so have a great night, Jim, and thank you for
Have a good night,
stopping
Jim.
by. Always love hearing about the double features and all the cool stuff. Well, see, I don't feel so alone since he seems to be around the same age as me, kind of.
Right, right. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, Jim. Take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Johnny
We
asked.
also have another one here, Mike's DVD and Blu-ray collection. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Mike.
And then, and then the cool thing, Clint Howard being in this too, great in this as Eagle Bauer.
I mean, I just like, I don't know, just like thinking about it now, like I can only imagine like what the rehearsal time was that they had to go through to make this movie, because a lot of it, just the way everything flows in sync, it was for like, as far as like the dance choreography and all that stuff, like there's no way they just said action and go, like they must have had some crazy rehearsal time, like get all this shit down pat.
And then the two guys that are the hall monitors, the one guy that has the straight hair, not the curly hair, he's been in a bunch of stuff. Like he was in a couple of episodes of Walking Dead, like in the second season.
Okay. What's her name? Is that the principal? What's her name again?
Mary Warrenoff.
Yeah, she's also the mother in House of the Devil.
Yeah, I think so.
The modern movie. Like I know she's like well known for many other movies, but I thought that was pretty cool that Ty West or whatever was able to get her for his little independent horror movie. You know what movie she's in that I actually watched for like the first time was Silent Night, Bloody Night from 1972. It's like a Christmas horror movie in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a slasher, but like the video quality on it's like extra bad. Like it's pretty bad.
He's in this one called Blood Theater. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Vinegar Syndrome put it out, and it's really good. She plays like this woman that works
I don't think I've seen Blood Theater. I'm thinking of like Blood Harvest right now, though. That goofy one with that guy dressed up as a clown.
Yeah, but there's Blood Theater, and there's like this murder that's going around in this sort of theater, killing these kids off, and but she plays like the manager's like secretary or something weird. Mike says, I think I first saw this on TV, the TBS channel, late night, more probably around 1990.
That's cool, man.
That's great, man.
I know, like, as far as stuff like that in that time period, like, I have a lot of memories of, like, USA Up All Night and TNT with Joe Bob Briggs and stuff like that, and trying to catch new episodes of Tales from the Crypt on HBO, shit like that, man. Fucking, the 90s were really underrated.
Detention center. I've never served a detention before. Oh, don't worry. I've done more detentions than anyone in the school's history.
Ah, I finally got a pause here. That sucks, man. I knew it was gonna happen. Sorry though. I just gotta, play with the bar on it, and it's playing again. So, but that's the first one. But what was it? One night you were using Tubi and you got no ads.
Yeah. I
What,
don't,
what, what was it you were watching again? Because I know I was on a stream with you when it happened.
I hear it's been raining cats and dogs in Idaho.
I'm trying to remember like which one.
It's funny. It's not even that long ago either. It's not even like 2 streams ago. Can't remember.
I got.
I don't, dude, it happens to me, man.
It was
Was it
Intruder.
Intruder?
Which one?
It was Intruder.
That's it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
That's the one that wasn't Jimmy said. Jimmy said that he was watching on Tubi as well, but he got ads.
Yeah, he was getting ads and stuff.
Well, it's I guess it's always different for people, man.
Have a good night, Joseph.
Have a good night, Joseph.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us, Joseph. Take care and be safe, man. Now, this guy right here with that white sweater on, that preppy sweater, isn't he the same guy that's in Hell Night?
Yes, Vincent Van Patten. His dad was the actor Dick Van Patten, who was on.
Yeah, he's the guy that's wearing, like, throughout the movie, like, when they take the 4 people to the house. I forget the name of the house, but he's the guy wearing the Peter Pan costume.
Yeah.
And like he finds a way to escape and he comes back with like a shotgun and shit.
The that movie I was telling you about a while back, it's for free up on YouTube. I found it. Lunch Wagon. Like his dad's in that, like in a small role, but he also has like a couple of his other brothers are in it. And it's funny because the band Missing Persons is in it, but they were called LA Drag or something at the before Missing Persons, or no, they were called US Drag. That's what they were called. But there's this hilarious scene where one of the brothers, his brothers, is like this keyboard player, and like Missing Persons, they all have they're kind of standard rock outfits, but there's this one black dude that plays bass, and he's just he's totally not dressed like them. And then his brother, the guy playing the keyboards, he's got this big like brown jacket on, and it's like hot in this club, and he's just like like when he's playing just back and forth. It's so bad because he can't fucking play. It's like, oh jeez.
That sounds wild. But here's the Hell Night release. But anyone who hasn't seen this one with Linda Blair from 1981, man, this one definitely comes recommended. It's a fun one. I think it takes place on Halloween night too, if I remember correctly. Motherfucking Hell Night!
You got a slip. I don't have a slip, but
I gotta get myself a copy of that.
Yeah, like Scream Factory did their best with this, with adding in like the archival print stuff, where it like makes the movie a little bit longer than the original theatrical cut. So it really was, this or nothing. So can't really blame Scream Factory for what they tried to do with this,
Yeah. It was like the same situation they did with Silent Night, Deadly Night, with the uncut version being remastered. But like
that's actually a perfect example of those inserts, how they just don't, like one's in HD and the next you're watching a camcorder quality like out of nowhere. So but Scream Factory did their best with that. I know that. I understand that. That's challenging when you got to splice in old footage into an HD print, It's also the same thing with the Exorcist 3. Yep. With the director's cut for that, it's another one with those inserts are very tricky and odd looking. They stand out.
What's that thing in your ear, Randall?
Yeah, and Evil Speak needs to be reissued. That's another good Clint Howard film.
I have that on Blu-ray actually. That was released from. It was like a partnership thing with Code Red and Scream Factory, because apparently Code Red had the license for it, and Scream Factory went and got in touch with that guy Bill from Code Red before he died or whatever, and I guess they worked out a deal to make a release for that. But now it's out of print, goes for stupid money. But
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. That definitely needs a re-release. But that's a pretty cool movie, though. Evil Speak. It's where Clint Howard is going to like military school. He's constantly picked on, and he spends his free time in the basement of the school he goes to, and finds this computer that allows him to have contact with like this satanic being or whatever. And oh god, the end of that movie so fucking epic, man. Especially the uncut version. You got Clint Howard being pulled around on strings with a giant sword in his hand, with flames going up behind him and shit. That movie's fucking crazy, man.
I forgot that they call these two guys Hansel and Gretel and stuff, and
Oh yeah.
if she's plotting to like, get it riff and everything,
You know, that's something I can't confirm here. Mike's DVD and Blu-ray collection. Was Linda Blair in the Leslie Nielsen comedy horror movie Repossessed? I've never seen that one. I know what it is. I've just never seen it.
That's a movie that came around the same time as Exorcist 3. In 1990.
Okay, so it's like a late 80s, early 90s movie is what you're saying. I've never seen that one.
They came out the same year, like a couple weeks apart or something. Like, because that's the reason why Exorcist 3 got all shit on with the reviews. It's because they thought it was gonna be a piece of shit because of Repossessed being a goofy comedy movie and stuff. That's the reason, like, why Exorcist 3 got shit on by reviews and shit.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's still a good movie. Repossessed. It's not. It came out the same time as Exorcist 3.
Tex, did you ever see that one, Repossessed?
A long time ago. It hasn't been recently or anything.
So, are you able to confirm that that's what he's talking about?
Yes.
Okay, cool. But yeah, I'm sorry. That was meant to be a question. I'm sorry, dude.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, I heard Repossessed is gonna get a Blu-ray or 4K. I've heard from DVD Blu-ray.com that they're gonna do a Blu-ray for Repossessed. I don't know who's doing it.
Okay, like, dude, we're not even through this stream, and I already got like 3 or 4 new movies that I'm like interested in now. Like,
they confirm on DVD.com that they're doing a Blu-ray or 4K of Repossessed with Leslie Nielsen and Linda Blair.
Okay.
And Russell Collier is here, causing trouble as usual. This woman that's the gym teacher, I think she was in some episodes of like Happy Days, and some other stuff. And Dick Miller's in here. Oh, he plays a cop. That's right. He doesn't show up, I think, till the end. But,
Damn, that one girl. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Dick Miller, he was always a Corman mainstay. He was like in pretty much every Corman movie that people did from like the 60s up, and whatnot.
Okay. It's funny, like, if you like, there's been times I look at Roger Corman's like body of work, and it's just amazing how many people he's collaborated with and how many things he's responsible for with getting started and off the ground. And I mean, how many projects that he also put money into because he felt that there was something there, like he's really responsible for a lot of these subgenres.
Z says you're stranded on an island and can only have one of three films: Freddy's Dead, Resurrection, or Jason Goes to Hell. What do you choose? Think Juno's poster for that question.
I think I might know Z's answer on it, but I'm gonna go with Jason Goes to Hell because that's something I like grew up with. I think I was like 10 years old when that came out. And when that came out, it was just exciting at the time. It was like, oh, a new Friday movie. And when it was finally available on the shelf to rent, that was a day one rent. I rented that right away. I remember actually having to pay the late fee. I didn't take it back right away. I ended up watching it 2 times in 5 days. I was supposed to take it back in 3 days.
Yeah, for me, I would pick Freddy's Dead because I laughed my ass off with that movie. I know it gets a lot of criticism, like, oh, it's too goofy, but to me, it's better than that boring piece of shit, Dream Child, which I think is a boring piece of crap. This movie's more entertaining because it makes me laugh my ass off when I see like
Yeah.
all the goofy shit in it. I don't know. I picked that one.
Yeah, I think Freddy's Dead is an obvious guilty pleasure for some people. Like, the movie is what it is. Like, and it's got a very young cast in that too, an experienced young cast. I know that, but it's not something I rewatch all the time. But I wouldn't mind seeing it again. Like I have the whole collection, like most of us do.
What would you pick, Texas?
Probably Jason Goes to Hell, but
I thought you were going to go with your usual answer, which is none of the above.
Almost, I almost was. I was gonna say I'd find the other guy that was on the island, kill him for his copy of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but
Yeah, Mike over at Mike's DVD and Blu-ray collections asking. I heard a nice 4K of Nightmare on Elm Street is coming out this summer. I don't know when the release date is, but I don't even know if it's sold out yet. But apparently, Zavi released a limited edition uncut 4K for a Nightmare on Elm Street for like $60+ or something like that. But I'm not really, I don't need it that bad. So I'm just going to wait for a later release, hopefully a actual 4K box set or something of like the entire franchise. That's what I'm like really holding out for at this point, because that would really look great on the shelf right next to the Friday the 13th, franchise box set. That's what I really want. I don't want to just dish out a shitload of money for this uncut version of A Nightmare on Elm Street, and apparently it's not even cut by much, which is another thing that's kind of making me not that interested in it.
I already seen those uncut scenes. Like, it's just not that much. It's just like seconds of extended shots of the movie, like of some kills in the movie, but that it's not like you're gonna have like a whole minute that's longer showing the gruesome shit. Like, I seen the uncut stuff, but it would be interesting to see how it goes. Like, even if they do a single release without that limited edition, they might release the uncut version with it. So like that'll be cool. Like how they did, probably have everything like regular 4K instead of the steelbook, because the steelbook's always sold out.
Yeah.
Chester wants to know, have we ever seen the movie Grand Theft Auto in '77? Both Don Still and Bartel were in that movie before this one.
No.
But
I'm aware of it, but I've never seen it before.
I have, but I mean, it's been several decades. But
they made a movie.
One of the movies actually like good that's on the lines of that from that era is The Driver from 1978. It's like a neo-noir crime film, which is like pretty much like the inspiration for the Ryan Gosling film Drive.
Yeah.
But that's a really good one.
Mayan's here and stuff.
All right, Mayan's here. What's up, Mayan? Thank you for stopping by.
Jimmy's like, I vote that they should make a 4K of Jason X. He doesn't own a 4K. Jimmy, stop. Just stop.
But people would buy it.
I have fun with it.
Yeah.
I'm
You
actually
know,
that's a guilty pleasure, like for me.
what is?
Jason X. I actually
Yeah.
have fun with that one.
Like honestly, like I never owned it until we could get the Scream Factory box set, with all the films. And going back and watching it, I can say that the movie has grown on me a bit. I know, like, when it first came out, I was like, I don't know about this, but I've always liked that virtual reality scene. I always thought that was pretty cool, and the head smash scene. I always thought those things were cool about it, but going back and watching it and just really, seeing it for what it is and everything, it's a pretty fun movie, actually. If you don't,
Yeah.
if you just know how to not take a
Yeah.
Friday movie so seriously.
At least it's better than Leprechaun in space.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, they took the Leprechaun to space by the fourth movie. Those fucking idiots, man. But you know what else is actually true about that is the creators of Leprechaun 4. The reason why the movie ever got up and going and off the ground was because one of the filmmakers or whoever it was that was involved, the director or producer or whatever, like. They went ahead and made the poster first. They took the Apollo 13 poster that was coming out or came out like in the previous years or some shit, and they went and put the Leprechaun shit in there, and they were like, oh, well, we made the poster, now we got to make the movie. And like, so that was like what got them going for the fourth Leprechaun movie, was the fact that they went and made a poster for it.
So they just had this scene where they blow up the mice, that the volume level of the Ramones is so loud it makes mice explode. And now they're heading to the gym to try to catch the girls in the act of, running around dancing, because they were going dancing, girls, boobs, sex, Randall.
Dude, I need a timestamp. I accidentally hit the time bar by accident.
All right, let's see. 25:50.
Yeah, I ended up taking it back to 6 minutes by accident. He said 25:50. All right. So we have 11 people in the chat right now, which is not bad for what's today? Wednesday, right?
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
I'm really interested to see though if how they released, like, Paramount released those steel books for the Friday the 13th movies, the first 4. Like, I really hope they do steel books for the rest of them, or at least like the first 8. Man, that'd be great. But there just hasn't been any news or anything ever since they last released the final chapter, that Steelbook edition. Which I have the first 4 here. Wow, these things are covered in dust right now. Jesus Christ. But that's the first one right there, Steelbook. And then here's the part 2 one, which actually, for some reason, the part 2 Steelbook goes for really stupid money for some reason. It's really hard to get. Part 3, and here's the 4th one. Yeah. And part 4, but really hope they do 5, 6, 7, or 8. Did you say P. Rich is here?
Yeah, but I said Pimp Rich, but same thing.
Yeah, I think we should change it to Pimp Rich. It actually flows a little better. It sounds cooler. It gives them mad, cool street cred, internet cred, and everything.
Exactly.
Like, if I didn't know him and someone said Pimp Rich, I'd be like, who's that? Like, I want to know who that is. Who's that guy? But hey, what's up, P. Rich?
you just let me know.
Well, I haven't had any pauses, so it was only one pause and one error where I hit the time bar by accident. So other than that, everything's good. Now, do you know if the Ramones like recently put out an album same year that this came out?
They had put out, yeah, that album that they're showing spinning, Road to Ruin, had come out sometime before that. But because when they show up, when she's at the box office, they play I Just Want to Have Something to Do, which is the first song off that album. So yeah, they had just come out with that album. I don't know how close it was between when they filmed this and everything, but it was that year and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like the reason why I ask is because I figure if like they're doing a movie, they must be like promoting some kind of new album throughout it too, in a way. Or like
Yeah,
I don't know, they could have been like promoting a tour at the same time, or like I don't know.
it's funny because I just looked at that note that she gave Principal Togar, and it was dated 1980, and this came out in 79. So it was funny because I saw them in 1980.
Okay, so yeah, that same era, that time period.
Yeah.
See, I'm not like I wouldn't consider myself a big Ramones fan. I definitely don't mind their music, but like I'm really not one to be like, all right, I'm gonna put the Ramones on. Like I just never been a huge Ramones fan, but I've never been like, I don't know. I guess you could say I'm like the most casual Ramones fan, really. I don't mind their music. It's definitely good music and stuff, but I just never been one to really sit down and listen to like their discography and stuff. So, but
Or she goes into the fucking bathroom and is like, red alert. Yeah.
yeah, it's all.
Ding, ding,
There,
ding.
it's weird. There's this movie that Ron Howard directed. It's a made-for-TV movie. Came out around 77 or 78, called Cotton Candy, and they filmed it in Dallas. They filmed a lot of it at this mall that my great grandmother and I used to go to, and it's basically about a battle of the bands type thing, and about an interview I read with him about maybe, I want to say it's been about 15 years now. He said he was going to put it out on DVD, because people are like, people really want to see Cotton Candy, because it's had a really shitty, like, I mean, you can find it on YouTube, but there's nothing, great about it. It looks like it's off a homemade VHS rip,
Yeah.
And stuff. But it's a good movie, and I'm like really like bummed out that he still hasn't put it out, and I don't know why, it hasn't come out.
Then you wish that gets a release one day.
The what?
The Cotton Candy.
Yeah.
You wish it gets a release one day remastered without that shitty quality crap.
Yeah, something, I mean, because it's a decent, it's definitely like a decent movie, and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, you like it's 9 times out of 10 it's usually like a licensing issue, but what really sucks when like you end up getting news about like a long lost film and it's like very rarely you might hear like the negative is completely destroyed. Like when you hear that, it's like fuck. We're
He
getting
must
nothing
own it.
now.
Yeah, but I mean, he must own it or something, because I mean, he said that he was going to put it out, and I mean, and the music. I think most of the music was all written for the movie itself, so I don't really think there's a licensing issue with that.
Yeah, I mean, I have no knowledge on that, but you just never know what the issue is with that.
And Coffin Crew's here, so how's it going, buddy? Good to see you.
Hey, what's up, KK? KK Coffin Crew. What is up, bro?
Here's where old Eagle Bauer's showing them how to have the perfect date. He's making out with his blow up doll there.
Like, Clint Howard, like, he's pretty funny in this, actually.
Oh, yeah, he is.
But it's classic with him, man. The movie Ticks, when he screams into the camera, "I'm infested."
Oh my God! I just I watched that like for
Dick is pretty good.
Gizmo's last something was rotten in the basement. That movie was a trip. It was good though.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it. But yeah, when he was like, "Oh, I'm infested." The funny thing was too was that like he originally wasn't in there, and they needed something, and they were like, let's hire let's get Clint Howard to do this, like small role, and he did it so good, and stuff.
Yeah, like, he had his hair, like, all puffed out on the sides, and you got him as this, like, illegal chemist guy, like, mixing stuff with THC and plants, and they end up, like, emerging tick DNA by accident into it. But I really like, one of the things I think that makes the Vinegar Syndrome release so cool is the back of the artwork here, where he says, "I'm
Right.
infested," because he's got like a fucking tick nest inside of his face, dude. It's so like that was another reason why when I saw this release, I was like, I'm buying that, dude. Like, look at that fucking artwork. And then you got the front here with Seth Green with the flamethrower fucking killing ticks. And then you get the inner artwork here. Giant ticks on it with Amy Dollins. That's definitely classic, creature feature cheese for you from the 90s.
Excuse me, but I think it's obvious I'm
Yeah, it's such a nice, like the color schemes too, with that green and navy blue throughout it. So cool. I'm a flash star.
Sure, sure.
but you don't know who I am. I'm Angel.
And then there's this bitch that she goes to the front of the line, and all that.
She's like, "Oh, you're a groupie."
So yeah, here's where they show up and whatnot.
Yeah, Jimmy's saying Rock and Roll High School Forever deserves a 4K edition. Yeah.
He doesn't have a 4K. He's just.
But still, like, he is right about it. Like a movie like that, a classic movie like this, it needs some kind of 4K edition.
He's doing that to fuck with me though.
Oh, all right. They're like, I don't know the ins and outs of the jokes.
I'm gonna, next time he comes over, I'm gonna murder him. So that's a joke. Nobody take that serious.
Zodiac said Coffin Crew versus Hatchet Army. Should be an ugly outcome. It gets Celebrity Deathmatch, Celebrity YouTube Deathmatch. Coffin Crew versus Hatchet. Was it a good Hatchet Army?
If you look like behind the Ramones, there's this one guy holding this silver like case. He's the guy pretending to be their manager, but their actual real tour manager is standing right next to him. This guy Monty Melnick with like the mustache and stuff.
They did a really good job with the extras in this movie. Like when it comes to scenes with like mass crowds of people and stuff, like everybody's on point.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You can tell that they rented and shut down that whole street. There's no like opposing traffic or anything, you know, like there's no random bypassers.
Right.
You know, I'm honestly though, like it's like I said, it's been a while since I've seen this, but you know, I am glad I'm going back and watching this again.
It's so funny because I mean, like I said, when they have the concert footage and stuff, and you can see like Darby Crash and the Germs in the crowd, but they definitely got probably a lot of like local LA punks, to be there and everything and stuff, and um, it's like in that Cheech and Chong Up and Smoke, like in the Battle of the Bands, this
Hmm.
band, the Dills, is one of the bands they show playing, and I think they show the Germs too. But there's a lot of different, it's kind of cool that at that time frame that they actually used a lot of these like LA bands and stuff, in these movies.
What's your timestamp? I just want to make sure we're in the right area. I'm at 40 minutes. I just passed 40 minutes.
I'm at, yeah, 40:23.
All right, I'm only like 3 seconds behind you, so that's close enough. And P Rich Hatchet Boys saying, when would you like to do another stream together, Sean and Tex? Whenever you guys are free, Juno too. You know what? Let's look at your channel real quick. Let's see what you got
Anytime for
coming up.
me, as long as I'm not doing anything else.
I mean, that's another thing I love about P Rich's channel. Like, like everything he's got scheduled is always up my alley.
He says, Tex, I thought you were Chong. I've I've been called lots of things. Chong, one name I don't want to pronounce or say, and then like Jesus when my beard was longer and my hair was longer and stuff.
Shit. You know what? I might be free for Barbarian on the 15th, which I think is a Wednesday. I don't know if I got that day scheduled right now. I'll have to, I mean, just looking at shit right now, maybe Point Break. Nah, I can't do Point Break. That's the same day I'm going to be doing The Crow. Barbarian, Hard Target. You got Friday the 13th, part 2. But yeah, I mean, probably Barbarian, maybe Hard Target or Friday the 13th, part 2. I could definitely do at that point.
Hard target. Badass fucking flick.
Russell said his high school was like class of 1984, great time. So that means he was like stabbing people in the hallway.
We're not doing. We're not doing
Back
easy.
when you had too much freedom, I guess. No cameras around, no social media to get you fired from work and shit like that. Dude,
We're
this guy
not
just
doing
put a
any.
goldfish in his mouth. Sorry, go ahead,
We're
Juno.
not doing. We're not doing any streams for those two streams that P Rich is doing.
I'm sorry, say that again.
We're not doing any streams on those days. Like those two streams that he's doing for Barbarian and Hard Target.
As of right now, I think I don't know what my schedule looks like, but I think we might be free for Barbar. Like, let me go look at my schedule real quick.
So Togar had taken their tickets to give them to charity and stuff, and
God,
everybody else in class has them, and they even got one for the music teacher, and he hid his, so like Togar wouldn't take it. Oh, and here's like the dream sequence and stuff too. This is a great one. She gets high and it has this whole thing where you know she imagines the Ramones in her bedroom and stuff.
All right, so we don't have anything scheduled on the 19th. We could do Friday the 13th, part 2. We do have something scheduled on the 17th, so we can't do Hard Target. I don't think the 17th and 22nd. So there's nothing scheduled for the 15th for Barbarian when he's doing that. There's nothing scheduled for the 19th when he's doing Friday the 13th, part 2. I'm going to skip out on 7 just because we're doing that in like a month from now. And then there's Terrifier, which is actually another one that we still need to reschedule on the channel. And he's got Tremors coming up. We also have Tremors at some point later on in the summer. But, I mean, if you guys want to do Friday the 13th part 2 with him, I'd be down with that. That's like, like an 85-minute slasher, I think. It's definitely my favorite Friday movie. But, I mean, I don't, like, P-Rich, we'll play it by ear right now, but it looks like I can more than likely join you for Friday the 13th part 2. And maybe Barbarian. Like, I actually like Barbarian. First time I saw that, I was like, ooh, I'm getting the creeps. Like, once that girl, like, went into the basement, I was like, ugh, getting a little uneasy in here now. But I think it was you, Juno. It said, like, you didn't like the second half of that movie, Barbarian.
Yeah, it was just like I just didn't like how they didn't go with the way where Justin Long, like how his character is like being fucked over. Like I got fired for being accused of assaulting someone on set of his movie. Like they could have done like something where they mess it up where he's drunk and he's confessing to his friend like I did it, but like they should have taken that out and they should have done with the route that trope where is he guilty or not. Like they could do a thing where like they could take on cancel culture, how people are falsely accused of shit. Like how that situation happened with Johnny Depp,
And then
how he was accused of all that shit.
Not like you bring up some good points there.
Like they could have done like
I only mention it because in a way I kind of agree with you. Like, I mean, I like the movie. I do feel like the final act just kind of loses a little bit to it. Like, there's just not. I don't know. I just feel like the final act of it just didn't live up to what I was watching earlier on throughout the movie. But I still enjoyed it as a whole. I felt like it was good enough to give it a 7 out of 10 too. Like, I thought it was a pretty cool movie, but I guess that final act could have been tweaked and worked on a bit.
Yeah. Like they could have like not even made the character a selfish douchebag at the end, like trying to sacrifice that girl at the end, the final girl. But you could have just made him like he's like teaming up and trying to defeat the feral lady, and could have had like a really cool battle or something. Like instead of making him a selfish douchebag at the end.
Yeah, I see. Rosalie is saying Barbarian first act is good, second is okay, third sucked. Like it's I can see where you're coming from with that. It makes sense. I mean, to me it does, but I mean, like I did enjoy the film. That final act really could have had some work done to it, but I still like the movie though. Like I don't know, with that third act not being perfect, I still like the film for what it is, though, strangely enough.
I do like that the movie ends with a pretty good old song, which is pretty unique. How the movie ends with a pretty good old song.
P. Rich is saying, Rosie, we can turn water into wine. Now that would be a talent to have drunk every day. Yo, the inside of that van is fucking awesome, man. It's got like a
Yep.
moon roof. It's got like like suede material all throughout in the interior and shit. Like whoever owned that thing was probably getting mad fucking 70s bush in that thing.
The major export of Ecuador is K-pop. Very good. That's the obvious. Sorry. It's your last one. Looks brand
It's so weird. Like she's got, like Ramones and Rolling Stones posters, got a Hendrix poster, and like kind of like in the middle there's like a fucking Michael Jackson poster. What?
Yeah, but it's mostly Ramones.
Yeah.
All right, so we have 11 people left here in the chat. And P. Rich is asking Michael Jackson versus Prince.
Prince, no fucking doubt for me.
I'm probably going to go with MJ, honestly. Even though he is like a fucking... Whatever, I'm not going to dive into his background. But, we all know who he is. I mean, I still think to this day the greatest music video of all time is Michael Jackson's Thriller, and nothing will ever top that. I mean, it's, we live in an age of non-existent music videos, so.
I think Prince for the Purple Rain, and that's getting a fortune this year.
That's cool.
I saw Prince in concert, and he played like 3.5 hours. So.
God damn.
Yeah, it was an epic show.
Were you sober the whole time?
Yes, I was.
Wow, I would have been bent. I would have been
like my ex-wife, like my ex-wife, she wanted to, she wanted to go. She's like, if you can ever get us tickets for Prince, and blah blah blah. So then I get her tickets. Tickets for the both of us, and then she starts bitching and complaining because he started late. And but he more than made up for it, but she's bitching and complaining. She goes, well, you want to go home? I'm like, no. I said, he's not done yet, and I said, you know where to catch the bus? I don't give a fuck, like, I'm staying,
That reminds me of a time me and my dad went to a World Series game. It was a Phillies game. The Phillies were in the World Series back in 2008. And the game was delayed by 3 hours because of a rainstorm. The game was supposed to start at 7 o'clock. It didn't start till 11 at night. I remember my dad looked at me and he was like, you want to get out of here? Like, he's like, really, I don't think I could sit here much longer to wait for this game to start. And I was like, you can go home yourself. It's been 28 years since the Phillies have been in the playoffs. I'm not going anywhere. I said, I will go home by myself if I have to. And then, like, he looked at me, he understood, where I was coming from with that. We stayed at the game, started at 11 o'clock. They ended up winning the game. It was a great night. We actually found $20 on the ground on the way out, too. I remember that shit. Remember, like, walking through, like, sloshes of puddles out of nowhere. There's this wet $20 bill just sitting in a puddle. Picked it up. Took it home, dried it off.
Just when they're listening to the radio, and the guy announces, the DJ announces, he's giving away tickets, and they got a name like, the Ramones albums, and they throw this guy out of the phone booth, or the TARDIS, as I call them now.
Yeah, you don't see them at all anymore. I mean, there's times where I'll be in like Center City, Philadelphia. I still see payphones, But sometimes I walk past the payphones, like I kind of like just casually look at them, and you can see where you're supposed to put the quarter in, and it's all blocked out with cement. So it's almost like it's like the phones like probably don't work because like the coin thing's blocked out. But I don't know, man. I think that the payphones, like it's really on its way out. You know, like it's in some areas in the world, but it's on its way out.
Right.
Like, big chance to get my songs to the we have to go.
Jimmy was saying that Aeon Flux really needs the 4K treatment. And see, that's bullshit because we saw that movie in the theater. I think I told you that. And it was like, I told him, I go, there's no reviews. He goes, well, I don't trust reviews anyway. I said, no, you don't get it. I said, if there's not a review at all, that means nobody saw the fucking movie and it's going to be a piece of
Yeah.
shit. And so
Eon
we got,
Flux was definitely a movie that came and went. It was like, all right, here it is. It's gone now. That's it.
so we go in there and 5 minutes in there, he's like, this movie fucking sucks.
Yeah. I know. That's Charlize Theron. That's oh god, that's a forgettable one right there.
Yeah. And then the funny thing was, we thought, oh, okay, we'll make up for it. So we sneak in to go see Blood Rain afterwards, and that was a piece of shit too. So this part where they're taking the tickets, this guy that's going, you got any bottles, whatever, in the 38, jersey, that's actually the director, Allan Arkush.
Oh, okay. So like the guy he's talking to though, that's the guy. He was in Piranha. He's in, I think, The Burning too. Is he in The Burning?
No,
The guy with the stupid yellow hat.
No, that's Paul Bartel, the guy that I was telling you about, and his wife that plays the principal, Mary Warnoff. He's the guy that directed Lust in the Dust and friggin'
that white wetsuit is so funny, man. It looks so real.
What's that movie, Texas, that you and Jimmy thought was a piece of shit with Charlize Theron? What's the name of it?
Aeon Flux.
Yeah, it's a bad one. Don't see that, man.
Yeah, don't. Even to do a rant, don't do it.
The fuck name is that for a movie?
I think it's from a comic book. Like, I actually used to date a girl that was like, for some reason, she really liked that movie. And she even had the haircut, the same Charlize Theron haircut, which was like, whatever. But I from what I remember with it, I think it is originally from a comic book. I think the comic book did so well that somebody adapted a movie, but the movie's just like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Ugh.
If you Texas and Jimmy said it was a piece of shit in 5 minutes, I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah, it was total garbage.
Zodiac said Eon acid reflux.
Yeah, pretty much. We got Shamarlis in here. He's had hot dogs tonight, so that's cool.
Yeah, I see Scott's here, man. Fucking tearing it up on a hot dog binge. That's what's up, Scott. What's up, man?
Hot dogs.
Yeah, that white rat suit is so like it's a little too scary. Like how accurate it really looks like a tall white rat in the crowd.
It's funny, like the two nuns or they got the tickets from the charity, from the principal and shit. But see, the director, remember that movie I showed one time, Get Crazy? We should do a watch along to that. He directed that one as well, and that's based on when he used to work at like the Fillmore East when he was a teenager in the early 70s and stuff.
And I think it would be tidy if they wore.
Damn, look, movie just paused on me and it went right back and started playing again.
From the beginning?
No, it kept going, but like I thought it was gonna pause too. I was like, ah, shit, because it stopped for a second and it just kept playing. So But other than that, I haven't had any issues. My timestamp is just passing 58 minutes. I like to say one thing. Screw you.
Yeah.
Chester has a question here. Has anyone listened to the song Somebody's Watching Me? It's a great song by Rockwell and Michael singing the chorus. Why do I feel like I know what he's talking about, but I can't put my
Because you
finger
do.
on it?
Nobody, there's nobody in the world that has never heard that song.
Like it's going through my head right now. I just don't know who it's from. Like
It sounds like a movie's name. That title, Somebody's Watching Me.
that's a Ridley Scott movie, actually.
No, it was by this guy Rockwell, and Michael J sings in the chorus.
Yep, it's a song.
I wouldn't be surprised if that song is actually in that movie, that Ridley Scott movie from the 80s.
That would make sense.
This guy in the red suit like gives me David Cronenberg vibes. Like like he like looks like him a little bit. Like the big nose, glasses, the long hair. This is like the early days of leopard print, you know? This is when like
Right.
leopard print was like, yo, you got leopard print on, you fucking rule, man. Like but then again, like it was really like, like the pimps that introduced the leopard print. Like, like the interiors of their cars and shit throughout the 70s.
So Hansel and Gretel, they're on their way to the concert to try to disrupt it, and stuff. If you look towards the bottom left, and there's a guy in a white shirt with a tie who's to the left of them. They'll probably show him again, and he's got big spiked hair. He's like waving his arm up in there, and there's a blonde chick in front of him. That's Darby from the Germs.
I'll be right back in a minute.
And they just showed like you could see Darby a little bit better, and he's got his like Germs armband on there with a blue circle and everything.
PJ Soul's in the front row there.
Yeah. There were all
So
these
this
like,
is available on Blu-ray, right?
yeah, I've got a steel book of it from Shit Factory.
Oh, wow. Shit Factory.
Shit Factory sucks ass.
It was for the 40th anniversary of it too. Had a like a new 4K scan, it said, and then it had a new like class of 79, 40 years of rock and roll high school. And then I guess a bunch of audio commentaries and different things. It's funny to see like the Corman interview because he was saying how originally he wanted to have a movie called Disco High, and everybody was like, "What? Nobody likes fucking disco," you know.
I was like offended by it. The whole thought. Got to get beat up over it. I see
Hey,
Don is
yeah,
here.
I
Don
was gonna
from
say
Night Owl
that.
Movie Talk, and we also have Reed from the
Hey, Don.
Spicy 4K action. Holy shit!
Read.
Now we can party, man.
Yeah, that's it. Bring out the 8-ball.
And a piece of shit.
The principal's so out of touch that she has like one of those old like wooden radios in her office.
Right.
She don't know what a record player is or anything. She got a statue of Abe Lincoln, like. Ugh. One, two, three, four. There's a couple nuns in the fucking mosh pit. I love it.
Yeah, they were the ones that won the contest, or the ones that the principal gave the fucking things to. But it was so
That's great.
funny when we were like watching this like in the theater and stuff, that when I was telling you about that, like we, me and my friends, we'd be singing along and shit. People thought we were like fucking nuts, stuff.
Yeah. How the fuck do these guys know the words?
The only bad thing about being, like maybe there was like maybe 5 of us that were punks in the school. It's always these idiots would always be, "Hey, Devo, or you're queer or whatever." It was like fucking ridiculous. It's just like, okay, just because you're fucking closed-minded and a dumb redneck doesn't mean that you have to put up with your shit.
Yeah. It's funny, like, when I'm not doing a stream on my channel and we're watching a movie that I don't own, I find myself holding 2 tablets because I have one for the comments here and I gotta watch the movie over here. But, like, I mean, it's not a pain in the ass because I can just really just lay it on my leg here. I don't have to, like, actually hold it the whole time, so.
And this idiot, is doing all this coke, and then he checks his watch and spills his coke and shit. What a moron.
Dude, that's a lot. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not real coke, but that was a lot of powder that fell off of his hand. Dude. That was like, that was a lot. And, I bet you Studio 54, that place was so powerful. Just walking in there can make you addicted to coke. You haven't even
Yeah,
done it yet, and
probably.
you're addicted to it. Like, can you imagine that being like, being back in, that era with Studio 54 and having the money to roll into a place like that with a hot chick and just, woo.
Yeah. You wind up going home with Elizabeth Taylor, Wait,
Yeah,
what?
wake up with a sex change.
Or in a bathtub full of ice and your kidneys are gone.
Yeah. Yeah, your organs are on the black market. Zodiac says baking soda, not baking powder. Baking powder guys will have little muffins growing out their nose. Gabba Gabba signs are pretty funny. Gabba Gabba
that's
hey. Gabba
that's
Gabba
ba-
hey.
that's based on Freaks. Did you know that?
Is it really?
Yeah,
The movie, like, wait, you're talking about, the 30s movie you're talking
yeah,
about, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Corman, Tom Browning, Freak.
Because
Oh,
they're
all right, I see now. Cause like, all right, the one person on stage is dressed like the one freak, which you kind of have to focus on to figure that
yeah,
out.
but also like there's a scene, where they're all like "Gabba Gabba, we accept," like they're saying "we accept you," and that's where they took that from, and stuff.
They made it into a chant throughout a song, basically. Like,
Yeah,
that's genius. So,
yeah,
especially to acknowledge that movie at the same time. Freaks is definitely a classic movie. From the 30s and all. Was that 1932? I think Freaks came out. I think Criterion also released that, right? Didn't
yeah,
Criterion give Freaks
yeah,
like a proper release?
yeah.
But
See,
sadly,
Johnny Ramone, he was into, hugely into like 1950s sci-fi and all these like old movies from Hollywood and stuff.
Yeah.
That's why he wound up moving to like, LA and Hollywood and stuff.
Rosalia brings up a good one here. You walk into Studio 54, you will definitely walk out of there being the Pillsbury dough blow.
Yeah.
but sadly, Freaks, that Criterion Blu-ray doesn't have the uncut version that everybody wanted to see, the full version of that movie.
So is the uncut version even out there and available though? Like,
No,
I only asked that because like it seems like Criterion will really do everything in their power to give you the full authentic version of a film. So like, I mean, if it's out there and exists, I'm sure they would probably
it,
release it if
it,
they have the power to do that. But
yeah,
I don't know. Like, I don't have
because
a lot of knowledge on that movie.
the original movie had like more scenes, and even like the ending, they had more to the ending. So like that's the reason why there was that full version, that because it has more to the ending, like more scenes to it.
Yeah.
Oh, here's
Okay.
the Hansel and Gretel get there and they're blowing like this Coke, and there's this one guy with like brown hair who was like, looking at him and like sticking his tongue out at him, and that's Rodney Bingenheimer he used to be a DJ on KROQ in LA, and there's a documentary about him called The Mayor of I think they call it just The Mayor of California or something, because he was like, everywhere, like he was like a stand-in for Davy Jones when the Monkees series was going on. Um, it's like, he was one of the first people to play like a lot of the LA punk bands and different, punk bands in LA and just all over the world. He owned a place called Rodney's English Disco before he was on K Rock. And he was one of the first people to sort of, like I guess Joan Jett and Cherie Curry used to go there, and that's how they kind of formed the Runaways and shit.
Okay.
I met him once at like a party for this record store, Rough Trade. It was just like a grand opening thing, and he had come up from LA. And I just, I saw him and I just was like, "Hey, Rodney, nice to meet you," and stuff. And he's like, "Oh, cool," and he asked me my name. And then he's all like, "Did you know there's a new GTOs record?" And I was like, "No, I didn't know that." But, I like the GTOs. It's like this all girl group from like Michigan and stuff. But it was just sort of funny. That's the thing that comes out of his mouth to ask me, "Oh, you heard the new GTOs record?"
See, that's like, it's another thing I enjoy, being on streams with you for. You're so like, I guess you could say like musically inclined with stuff like, like throughout your time here on Earth, like you've been through quite a few eras of music and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
really cool to see the stuff that you're into and hear the stuff, like hear you elaborate on your past experiences and stuff.
I appreciate that, Sean. I'm just a music geek. That's all. It's like Russell says, the man with many stories.
Well, I mean, like that's another thing. Like as I hear you talk, like I can hear it in your voice, like how much you really enjoy this stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
why like I bring this up.
It's great. It's great that you like all genres.
Yeah.
Texas. Like,
Like I mean, like
like
I would say I'm
uh,
pretty open to like most genres. I can't do country music. Like there's some country songs from like I don't know, like people like John Denver and stuff that I can tolerate, but I don't
yeah,
really put on country music. But other than that, I
for
can be
me,
pretty open to all
yeah,
genres.
for for me, I can't, I can't get into rap. I don't know, like that's not
Really?
that's like there's a few like I go see I like Eminem songs and I like a few songs from Tupac, but all in all, like that's really not my cup of tea.
Dude, that's perfectly fine. I mean, like nowadays with rap music, I can't even tell you what's going on with it. But like,
Like
I mostly like
I was
the
so
late '80s, going into the '90s to the early 2000s. Like, there was a lot of great rap music that came out in that time.
but but nowadays like the new shit is just like it's not just only rap. There's even pop music and all this shit. It's just some of these songs are just bad, and they also
Yeah.
have like mumbling shit. Like you can't understand what the hell they're even saying. Like what the fuck is he saying?
Yeah, I know Snoop Dogg went on like an interview one time and he's like, these new rappers just nowadays, they just use the same hooks and you can't even understand what the fuck they're saying. And it's like everything he was saying in that clip or whatever I saw before, it was like he was 100%
Mhm.
right.
I agree with you. You can't understand what the fuck they're even saying.
Yeah, they just steal each other's beats and hooks and then next you know it, they're rambling on with whatever the fuck they're saying.
And they're like, and they're like winning awards, like all this shit. Like they're the greatest. Like they're number one. Like what the hell? All this shit is number one. Like I can't understand what the fuck they're even saying in this song that they say the number one hit.
Yeah, I mean, like people like Takashi 6ix9ine and shit like that. I can't get into that stuff. Like that's just headache rap, man. It really is. Shit'll give you a splitting headache.
Marky Ramone puts that "kick me hard" sign on her back and stuff.
Yeah, it's funny. As soon as you said it, I just rolled up right on that scene. As soon as you said it.
We used to do that shit in school.
I mean, like it is like an old joke to play on somebody. Kick me or whatever. Putting that sign on somebody. But you know what's funny? I actually have a pretty funny, like a quick story from high school. I remember some girl we used to hang out with in the crowd I used to hang out with. Apparently, she came to school one day with a white t-shirt on with no bra, and she got caught in the rain. Therefore,
Holy shit.
her yayas are fucking showing. And apparently, the dean of our high school like took notice to her situation, so he decided to give her his jacket for the day. He's like, here, wear my jacket for the day. And she wore it for the day. Eventually, one guy we were hanging out with was like, no, give me the dean's jacket right now. I want his jacket. So he got the jacket and he took a black Sharpie and wrote "fuck you" all over his jacket and shit. And, like, apparently he got the jacket back and was like looking for people. Like, it wasn't announced throughout the school, but like word was put out that the dean wanted the person responsible for writing "fuck you" on his jacket.
They're like playing MC5's the song called High School in this. I like that song, but I wish they would have had like Kick Out the Jams or something instead.
Yeah. I saw a sign on the line for it. I mean, a sign on the wall. It says "smoking hotline." What the fuck? What's a smoking hotline? Yeah, the rabbit's got curlers in his hair.
That's the giant mouse. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the mouse, not the rabbit. What the fuck am I talking about? This movie's relentless, man. It really is like one ridiculous thing after the, like, you know, it just keeps going. This ridiculous scene after another. Hamburger helper with a white boy. White boy helper. Alright, so, yo, we still have 13 people in the chat, man. It's really not bad for midnight. We're at midnight now. Or I'm at midnight. You'll be at midnight in an hour. And then Juno will be there in like a couple decades.
Yep. The firing line for the Apple Brown Betty.
Shit looks gross, man.
And those stewed tomatoes and shit.
Yeah, it's like, you know, whatever that mush is they make for apple pie and tomatoes and meatballs and shit.
And beans and spaghetti.
Man, that is some terrible cafeteria food that they're throwing around right now. It's, you know, I guess you could say cafeteria food is meant to be thrown around.
I mean, sometimes you could get some stuff that would be all right, and then you'd have stuff that was just like, holy shit, what the fuck am I eating? It's like, you know, you get this fucking pizza where you think that it's like a sponge and they just threw like, you know, some, you know, dog food on the top of it or something, you know, and stuff.
Yeah, or some some white boy hamburger helper. All right, dude, that might be the most iconic scene here. Going through the hallways with the band on like rollers there, like the drummers just rolling through with the band actually play, like the school band behind the Ramones.
Yeah.
And then the football players, like, dude, that is such a cool scene.
And like Paul Bartel, you know, is the music teacher wearing a Ramones t-shirt and stuff. Well, it's funny because this song is like from the 50s or whatever. And I remember one time my stepdad goes, they actually play this song? I go, yeah. And he goes, I used to love this when I was a teenager. And I'm like, well, it's not much different probably from the version you know.
I mean, if anything, though, the Ramones really brought life to this song again, you know? Like,
Right.
I mean, I can't say how popular this song was back then, but this definitely, you know, brought it up there and made people aware of it.
I mean, it's odd because they had a weird choice of covers. Like they showed them like in the concert footage doing California Sun, which was another one. But they did a song that Sonny Bono had written called Needles and Pens. And so that's another one, you know. And then years later, like in the early 2000s, they did a record called Acid Eaters, and it was all like covers. And actually, Johnny Ramones, he hated that fucking album. You know, he was like, "That's our worst album was Acid Eaters." But that was because at the time, though, that a lot of record labels were wanting bands to do, different tribute albums or cover albums and shit. So that's why they did it. But
So it looks like we're on the final act, the final 10 minutes here.
Zodiac says queef and cheese burrito. There you go.
Oh God.
there's Dick, they just showed Dick Miller as the cop. It's funny because Joe Dante, put him in like every one of his movies, and stuff that he made sure Dick Miller was in there somehow.
Rosalia said, to shorten things up, make it more simple, Queefy Mac.
Yeah. Hamburger queefer,
Oh God.
Would you like the tacos or the enchiladas or the queef? The queeferito.
I love seeing Dick Miller in good movies,
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that Dick Miller is like his filmography is probably perfect in a way, You really look back at his filmography, like it's just perfect, man.
Yeah. Yesterday, I saw him in the original Lilo Shop of Horror, where he plays that character that's eating flowers in that original movie, which is funny.
Yeah.
I got to see that yesterday in the afternoon.
Oh, okay. You watched that. Oh, you watched it recently. You watched it yesterday.
There's a good documentary about Dick Miller that was made before he died, and great stuff.
Oh, yeah. He made a movie with what's his name? From what the hell's his name again? Sid Haig. Yeah, Sid Haig.
Yeah.
He made that movie called Hanukkah. But what sucked about it was when the Blu-ray was available, you couldn't understand what was going on because it was completely out of sync.
Oh shit.
Dude, I'm talking about I'm not talking about like a fraction of a second. I'm talking like a whole 30 seconds. Like people are saying shit and it's not lined up at all. Like it's really bad. I remember that when the Blu-ray went on pre-order, I bought it and I was one of the victims that bought this fucking Blu-ray with the out of sync looping on it.
Man.
So technically I saw the movie, but I just couldn't understand what the fuck anybody was saying. But I really do appreciate the fact that somebody like Joe Dante was able to see the value in somebody like Dick Miller and use him as a character actor throughout all of his films. And obviously other people took notice of that and even, wanted him in some of his movies and stuff. So
yeah, he was in The Burbs.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's in every Joe Dante movie, actually. When you think about it, I think he's in all of his movies.
Gremlins and Gremlins 2, which is funny that they brought him back in the sequel because they said originally he was supposed to die in the first one, but they liked his character so much, so they brought him back in the sequel.
Yeah, it's so fun in Gremlins how he's drunk out of his mind. He's convinced that there's these little gremlins in your imported fucking technology and everything, in your engines and your cars, and it turns out he's actually right, and nobody still believes him. He actually plays a similar character in Joe Dante's The Explorers, which is it's like an early movie for River Phoenix and Ethan Hawke. They're like,
yeah, I love that movie.
Oh, the Alien movie.
Yeah, I think they're like 15, 16 years old, like in that movie while they were making that. But Dick Miller has a character in that where he sees the aliens in the sky and he goes to tell everybody about it. And nobody believes him. And so, like, it's kind of the same character from Gremlins, except that the narrative is changed around.
Yep.
I just like to say to all kids everywhere that you may think that school is yours for a while, but it is always by the principal or administration.
So I guess you would say this is, besides Halloween, this has really got to be PJ Soul's most iconic role besides Halloween, right?
Yeah, I think so.
He pretty much like plays the lead of this movie.
Right. That's
one
like
of
one
the
of the
leading
reasons why I asked that question, because she's on camera a lot in this movie. Fuck, dude. I would give my left nut to be in the making of this movie, like just drunk out of my mind, just fucking moshing with people and stuff.
They're ugly, ugly people. I love that line. It's fucking hilarious.
Dick Miller, oh, they're ugly. Yeah, I also feel like in a way, like anybody that grew up, I guess in like the late '70s and the '80s, no matter how bad things might get, just go back and watch Rock and Roll High School and you'll have a good time again.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, dude, that explosion is so fucking cool, man. That shit you won't see in a movie nowadays. And an explosion behind a band like that playing with a live crowd and everything.
Yeah.
No, we can't do that nowadays. Somebody might die.
So we have to CGI the son of a bitch. So let's CGI it.
I mean, as long as they don't let Alec Baldwin there, everything should be alright. Nobody's gonna die.
Yeah, don't let Alec Baldwin be involved.
Yeah, because Alec Baldwin doesn't know how to check his own guns. He's got to get somebody to do it for him. Hang in there, Jimmy. That's all I can say, man. Hang in there.
Hang in there, Jimmy.
And he's all nuts, going detention.
Dude, that is like such an epic performance at the end. Like just that explosion in the back, that like nuclear bomb blast that just blew up in the background is so fucking cool.
Fit the movie perfect.
This could happen in your school. That's such a good ending, man. It really is. Fucking rock and roll high school. That was a good time, man. That's a good call for that one.
Oh, and it was Rob Bottin that created that giant mouse.
Oh yeah, he was the best in the game at that point, right?
Yeah.
All right. So that's Rock and Roll High School. But we are gonna be back at it again tomorrow night with Brian De Palma's 1976 movie Carrie.
So we got a PJ Soul's double feature, man.
Right, there you go. Right. Perfect timing.
It's a back-to-back. Yep. Double feature.
So I'm assuming we'll cut this one down soon in a few minutes. But yeah, tomorrow night we'll be watching Carrie on my channel, and this was really a good time, dude. It's I can't tell you the last time I really seen this movie. It seems like it's been well over 10 years for me, but I really enjoy going back and seeing that again. It's something I'm gonna have to really, pick up to install in my collection.
Yep.
Rosalie is never gonna give you up.
Rick rolled.
We're gonna
Never,
let you.
never give you up.
We're gonna let you
Uh,
down.
I'm sorry, Chester. I'm sorry you can't make it, but we'll,
Chester won't.
you'll be missed because you are a good part of like everybody here, and
Mhm.
I enjoy having you around.
Yeah, that's I'm glad that you mentioned Chester because he always has very interesting questions for us.
Yeah, he
Like,
does.
Great questions, Chester. You always have the great questions.
and it's obvious that he's interested to interact with us and throughout the chat and stuff. So that's good to see. But like obviously, there's no way you can make every watch party. Like real life gets in the way sometimes, and as I always say, YouTube's only for your free time. If you don't have it, you can't be here.
Egg
But
roll
yeah,
high school, man.
did you say egg roll high school?
Yeah.
Egg roll high school.
Well, I was just
The
thinking because
Chinese version.
well,
The
see,
Chinese version.
yeah, we used to
The
do this
Chinese version of rock
when
and roll high school.
when
Egg
I was
roll.
when I was in high school. We used to do this fucked up shit where like they had a deal, and of course it would be the last year I was in high school in my senior year that they would stop it, but we had seniors could opt out of having six classes. They could take the last hour off, but we used to go off. We'd also have like off campus lunch. So sometimes we'd go to this one Chinese place and we'd freak them the fuck out because like we'd go in there and they'd be like, table for five, and we'd be like, no, 5,000. We like to switch seats every 5 minutes. And then one time, like this friend of ours, Joel, had like he brought a sack lunch, so we took him with us, and we go in. So he goes in, and they're like, what are you doing? You can't, you don't order food. You can't be here. And then we walk in and we go, oh, he's with us, stuff, and then we would order our food, and stuff, but they would flip the fuck out thinking this guy just came in there to eat his own lunch, and stuff.
Like while you guys are doing that, they're taking dead serious mental notes and like making a mental list. Like if I see that guy again, I'm gonna fucking kill him.
Please cut off your fucking hand. You get out,
Fucking heady up and die.
You're dead man. Don't do it,
All right, let's stop before we get striked for racism.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, speaking of which, I'll say this real quick, but the Star Wars stream got knocked, but I fixed it. I guess it had something to do with maybe the thing that Johnny made. I haven't gone through it yet, but it was weird because I saw this thing and it said copyright. So I checked it and it said this, like you used something. I didn't know what the fuck it was, but it said you had something, and it said that I had that the person that made it gives permission to use it on YouTube. So I'm like, okay, so I'm like, well, I guess that's okay then. And it said you won't have a strike for this, a copyright strike. So then
Yeah.
later on, I look at it though, and the stream was still up. But then I look at it and it says this has been, blocked, due to a copyright. And I was like, the fuck? You said I could, everything was cool. And I checked the thing, and it said the same thing, that you have permission, but that it still got blocked. I don't know what the fuck. So it said, so I hit this thing to
Appeal it.
And then they edited out whatever it was. It took them a while, I guess, but
All that over. Dude, like that footage you showed was like 30 seconds too. Like, wow.
I know
I mean,
one.
like, it sounds like the owner didn't claim it. He okayed it. And then it sounds like he went, nah, I'm not okay with this. Now I'm going to claim it. Like, that's what that sounds like.
Well,
Like,
it still said it was fine. So I don't know. It was just weird, but I I just
yeah, like,
revealed it, and then it's working now and everything. So I'm glad of that. I'm just glad I didn't show that fucking trailer. I was gonna just
that's
put
why
that
I
up in this.
warned you, like, beforehand. Like,
Right.
you saw what happened to the intruder stream when I showed my shit, and that was like barely 45 seconds. And like another thing is like what you showed was probably about that time, like 30 seconds, 45 seconds or something. It's just like fuck, like somebody made a big deal over that. I gotta claim that. And
Yeah,
at
it
the
was
same
fucking
time, it's not
weird.
like they created it in the first place, you know? Like you ain't fucking John Williams. Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, it was just really strange.
Yeah. No, I mean, that would have me like in, like a tailspin for a minute there. Like, wait, you said it wasn't claimed. All right, the copyright's there. It's not claimed though. As long as it's not claimed, it shouldn't be an issue. But then somebody goes back and claims it later. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, that's a little odd. That would have me confused too.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay. So
Yeah,
I
but
hit
I
the
did warn you about that. That's why
No,
I
you
try to
did.
stay away from Star Wars content. Or if I'm making Star Wars content, I stay away from the music and the clips. That's always
Right.
murder for your
Well,
channel.
if I knew how to put other music over the clip, because I was just gonna put some random like rock music or something over it, that's not copyrighted, and just
The
go
only thing
from
I
there.
can tell you without like, I know when it comes to editing, like, you kind of have to like physically show somebody, but if you can go to the CapCut app and pull up that video and you hit
Mhm.
the edit button, and then you scroll through that at the bottom there, you will see a volume button. And you just take that and scroll it down to 0, take all the volume out, then you upload it.
Right.
And it'll be uploaded without sound. And then you go back again, and then you go to audio and then record. And then you put your new sound over it.
Oh, okay.
So, like, that's like, I know it's a lot easier said than done, though. I know that. Well, yeah, see, I wish I could show more people how to edit, but like, it's really difficult. Like, if I was like sitting next to you, and we were in the same room, I could be like, "Bang, I'll show you how to
Right.
edit right away." But like doing it like this is just, it's tough.
Well, I was gonna send it to Foxy and have him fix it for me because he's good at shit like that. But I just was like, I don't think I have time. So
Yeah, I mean, like, I think what you did for the beginning of this stream was actually perfect, really.
mhm.
But yeah, I see P Rich is saying you can only show 10 seconds. So like, yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Why even
Copyright is
attempt it?
fucking hate copyright.
Well, if
Yeah.
I could have had a way to impose
Copyright's
our
a
faces
bitch,
over the
man.
characters, too, that would probably work.
Copyright's a
Yeah.
fucking man. I don't know why that shit has to tempo everything. Even it's every fucking thing that gets attacked by copyright. It's not just only Star Wars. There's fucking music you can't use, which
Yeah.
like there's
Actually, I
some
remember
certain
one time I was
yeah.
doing a digital code giveaway drawing, and I played the Vikings theme song, If I Had a Heart.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with that song. It's like the main TV
I've
show
seen the
theme
show and
song.
yeah, the theme
And I
song's
played
perfect.
that song in a digital drawing. As soon as I uploaded it, it was like, this video cannot be uploaded because of the copyright of this song. I was like, I've never seen this before. What the hell's going on here? Like, well, that's the only time I really had an issue with like a digital code giveaway. But if I make any Star Wars content like moving forward, I just know now it's not okay to play the footage or the music because you're gonna get attacked by Disney like right away.
Mhm.
But other than that, we still have a decent crowd here in the chat. But
And hopefully
Yeah,
everybody
tomorrow night.
this rock
Tomorrow
high
night.
school.
Yeah, tomorrow night though we're gonna watch Carrie at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and yeah, for anyone who can't join us, the replay is always there. You know, we'll try to keep it at a 2-hour stream as usual on the channel, but also next month, June, is going to be Action Movie Month. We're going to be watching all 5 Rambo movies and all 4 John Wick movies, and we're going to be celebrating Juno's birthday on June 24th with motherfucking Con Air.
Yeah, kick ass, kick no names like a motherfucker.
Right, yeah, dude. Next month's going to be fun, man.
Yep.
That's why I brought that up to you. I was like, like Juno's birthday's coming up. We're doing action movies. I know one of his favorite movies is Con Air. We gotta do that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that though. It's been a little while since I've seen Con Air too. It's such a good cast throughout that, man. It's got a good blend of comedy, action, and so much different shit going on.
Underrated too. And even like everything is great about it. Even the score is fucking good too.
Yeah. Even John Malkovich, he can be pretty menacing throughout that fucking movie, man. And also, really carries the villain role throughout it.
Yep.
Like, I know he, pretty much leads everything, but, I just feel like he does a really good job with that.
And you got some really interesting characters, that are the side prisoners that tags along with John Malkovich throughout the movie. Like, they're well written too. Because they're tagging along with John Malkovich throughout the movie.
Yeah, I agree, man. Especially for a film that takes place on a plane in such a confined area. It's a prison plane. So you guys are locked up in 2-seat cells and stuff. But yeah, it's Nicolas Cage is Nicolas Cage as he always is, and man, I also Dave Chappelle's in it too, right? Isn't Dave Chappelle in Con Air?
Yeah,
right?
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
He's funny in that movie. Hey, Coach.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna call it now. Juno's gonna be able to quote every line from Con Air when we do that watch party. He's gonna quote the hell out of that shit, and it's gonna be amazing to see.
If you'd like to speak like Michael Caine, you should only say a few words.
That's too good, man. But 2 Boys is here. 2 Boys and their scary pops.
Hey,
What's up, bro?
2 boys and their scary pops.
But yeah, I'm ready to call it a night soon if you guys are. You can end it whenever you want. I'm just saying, that's all.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll pop?
1, 2, 10.
But yeah,
this is a great
thank you all for showing up, and it was a great time as usual. And I appreciate you guys always coming in, and love you guys for that. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, because you keep us going, and I get to tell you more of my ridiculous stories, and all that stuff. But yeah, I guess we're gonna call it a night. But coming up on the 18th, we've got Over the Edge for the 40th anniversary. Is it 40th or 45th?
45th. Yeah, it's another 79 movie. Another 79 movie. So, but I guess you could say, Rock and Roll High School is also 45 years old at some point this year. I don't know the date on it, but yeah, it's 45. It's another one's 45.
But next Wednesday I'll have something figured out, for us to watch, I guess, because you're not doing anything next Wednesday, right?
I mean, if I am, I can always alter it, but I'm gonna check real quick. Alright, stuck on the wrong channel right now. What's the date again? You said next Wednesday.
What is it? I want to say it's the 15th, but I could be wrong.
Alright, let me just get to the calendar. May. The 15th is a Wednesday. I don't think I have anything go. Oh, actually, I mean, the only thing I think's going on is P. Rich is doing Barbarian, I think, on the 15th.
Oh, okay. Well, if he's doing
But
that,
other than that, like, I don't really have. No, there's nothing set up on my channel for the 15th.
okay. Well, if he's got that going on, then we can just, do that or whatever. I mean, it's up to you.
Well, I'm sorry. What the hell are we even talking about again? Are we talking about what
Next
movie?
Wednesday. You said Barbarian that he had. I was just going to pick something for next Wednesday, since I kind of getting used to Wednesday kind of being my night, unless we do something on besides my channel. So that's all. Because,
All right. Why don't we just play it by ear right now? Like, I would shoot for that day. Just
Okay.
don't set it in stone just yet. But yeah, we'll shoot for that day right now. So,
Right.
yeah, just to get a head start on it. But yeah, we'll shoot for the 15th right now. Maybe we'll work around that and find a day outside of it or whatever,
Yeah.
But we'll figure it out. Either way, we're going to get it figured out.
Because I was going to say, I don't have a contract that says I can't do anything on Wednesday night. So.
Yeah.
I don't.
God, gotta tell you, I'm glad to be relieved of that. But yeah. But yeah, that's another thing, man. There's so many people throughout the community. As we interact on here, we meet so many new people, and you just gotta realize that streams are gonna run into each other. People are gonna upload videos at the same time. All this shit's gonna happen,
Right.
You just gotta try your best to work around it, and that's it. That's all.
But yeah. So I guess that's it. And
Good night,
something
everybody.
here about potholes, not plot holes, not potholes, but
Yeah, I'm like, pothole. We got potholes on live streams? Damn.
The potholes from the OG.
I'm like, how I'm just sitting there thinking, how do you look out for potholes on a live stream?
If you'd like to talk about potholes,
I like that, man. That's a good Michael Caine impression.
Oh shit! Mayanne was in the stream. Gotta acknowledge her. She was. In the stream.
Yeah,
she was here like a little while ago too. I know, but
we acknowledged her. You slow on the draw, Juno.
Shit happens.
Slow on the draw, Juno.
You know what though? Like when you're watching a movie, it's a lot to juggle. Like I'm sure you're starting to realize that now too, Russell. The more that you run something on your channel, it's like, oh, I got to pay attention to the chat. You're holding a conversation with the people you're having on the panel, and then you're watching the movie at the same time. But it's challenging, but it's fun at the same time.
Yeah, I know we were talking.
Mayanne just said she was quiet, but she's here. So, actually, this is funny, Pops. I have never seen The Island, and of course, this brings up a story. That same theater that I was talking about earlier, that was like the dollar theater that we go to. I was trying to gather a group of friends to go see that movie, see The Island and stuff, because it looked really cool. And then this one kid's mom's like, no, he can't go to the movie because she thought it was fucking Blue Lagoon.
Wow, how do you fuck that up?
I know. She thought it was Blue Lagoon. So then none of us got to see it. And by the time this guy's, mom had said, oh, yeah, you can go to the movie. Then they were like, oh, we can go to the movie. I was like, well, dude, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to go.
Yeah, right? Like, how are you going to sit around and wait on that? And, I know the poster art is it's like a guy's hand coming out of the ocean water with he's holding a knife. So I don't know if that person saw the poster art and was like, "Oh no, you're not watching that," you know, like.
No, I think she got
Nice.
confused, thinking, you know,
Blue
oh,
Lagoon, you
I
fucking
like
idiot! Like, what the fuck?
this little girl naked, and stuff. So
Always a responsible parent there to ruin everything,
isn't
right?
it? But I mean, I'll eventually see it. I'll find it somewhere and watch it. I mean, because I'm glad you reminded me of it. So, all right. But with that said, I think we're gonna like hit the road and everything. And everybody have a great night. And we'll
Everybody,
see you tomorrow night for
Leo,
Carrie.
Lester.
And you know, that's just the way it goes. Hasta la pizza.
Okay, Randall. I think the problem is clear. I am a reasonable, well-educated, mature adult member of society, and you are a spoiled heathen punk who has taken over my school.
I know I can write for the Ramones. All I've got to do is get my songs to them.
Look at this. Fake IDs down 50%. Test answers down 60%.
I want you to crash that concert. I want Randall and Rambo brought back here immediately. This is what we think of the Ramones. We gotta stop her! Come on!
Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Randall, and this is Rock and Roll High School.
Hey, pizza. Great. Let's dig in.
Yeah, I want some.
Oh, thanks.
How many times do I have to tell you? No pizza for you, Joey. More wheat German, riboflavin. Yeah, come on, Joey. Eat.